Heyo everybody, Haku here with my review of Little Witch Academia episode 14. Now I really liked this one. They went a bit of a different way than I would have hoped at first, but I still loved it. Starting at the beginning, that first scene was so good. The first scene was probably the best scene in the episode even. Like, I loved it. Just Ursula in the OST and getting me so hyped for her to reveal to Akko everything going on. Of course, we don't actually get that, so all my hype was like, kind of wasted. But man, that got me so hyped. I loved that. Then we get the new opening theme, and I said I liked the song. I had heard the song in the trailer for the second half. So I was waiting. I was thinking maybe last week would be the first one with the new opening, but no, it was this week, and man, I love the new opening. It is so good. The song is, I even wrote in my notes, trigger saves anime. I really like it. I like the sequence where Akko's changing to all the different animals. I really like how they compare Akko and Diana to Croy and Ursula. So I really like that, and it shows that we're going to be having some probably feelsy important backstory between the two of them and, of course, Professor Woodward, I believe. So then going into the actual episode, we are told that there's going to be a new professor and that the new semester is starting. I love Team Amanda, so I always like seeing them around. Amanda's one of my favorite characters. I think Ursula's probably my favorite character, but Amanda and Susie are probably and Akko as well. They're going up there for second, and then I guess right behind them would be Lotte, Constance. Jasminka's kind of to me. I really like Diana too, so I'd probably put her with Constance and Lotte. But yeah, either way, I love Team Amanda, so I like seeing them there. It was a great scene between the Team Akko and Team Amanda groups. Then we have Ursula and Akko were about to get what I was hyped for, and then they're interrupted for a fairy strike. The fairies want more energy, so Ursula has to go for 2 to 3 days to deal with that, collect energy with some of the alumni that are using it. So then I love just the little throwaway comedy scene where Susie was once again trying to mess with Akko, I tried to put stuff in your food to make it taste horrible, but Akko just ate it like it was normal. Then one of my favorite lines I really like, and I think the translation may lead to some of these lines that I really think are funny in a lot of shows. One line I thought was really funny is when they were putting the magic blocking panels up, and Akko just says, "What? That's a thing?" So, "That's a thing" was one of the best Akko lines for me. I thought it was so funny. Then Croy appears, and before finding out her name, I wrote in my notes when she first showed up, Pokemon villain appears, because she looks very, I guess Gen 4, Gen 5, Team Galactic or Team Plasma looking. She very much looks like a Pokemon villain. But she is the new teacher, Croy, and she has flying Roombas. Now, at first I was like, oh cool, they're just platforms she can fly on, and then she shows that they actually clean, and I'm like, oh, so they're actually brooms. They're actually Roombas, they're not just made for flying. So I thought that was funny, also that she brought tablets for her class. And at that point I was like, we can kind of see where, even if they're not totally villains, we're going to have these sort of antagonists. Antagonist doesn't have to necessarily be a villain, they can just be an opposing force to the main character and their beliefs, but we can see we're having these 3 different types where we have an old magic antagonist with Finneron, always trying to hold everyone back and saying nothing can break the rules. This new magic antagonist with Croy that's gonna do new magic, but I feel like she's gonna take it way too far, or in her pursuit of a good thing is going to do some bad things. And then Andrew's dad is the no magic antagonist, the government force that just doesn't think magic has a place in today's world. So it's interesting that we had those 3 different forces there. And then they were all complaining, they're nobody can take a bath, there's no hot water. I was like, what weaklings! I have gone months without hot water before, and it was terrible, but what weaklings, can't go a day without it? Akko joining the strike I thought was hilarious because she was convinced by the fairies. She went to convince them, but they convinced her. Made even funnier by the fact that Akko doesn't even speak fairy. So that's something they don't even bring up, that she doesn't speak fairy, but I thought that was even funnier that they convinced her to join them, with even showing us later on, but not necessarily bringing it up, she doesn't actually speak fairy. Then we see Diana shows up and tries to tell them off, and I was kind of on Diana's side, but it was funny seeing Akko and all the fairies chanting aristocrat at her. Then Akko says that the reason she's joined up with them is because she doesn't want her dream to burden somebody else. She doesn't want the fairies to have to deal with her burden by taking magic and learning magic, because they need the magic in order to just live. Then Lotte sees this weird thing we find out later would be the mechanical, the mecha fairy. Then we have the negotiations meeting. Croy shows up with her Triple S, which is sort of like a way she's trying to develop to store magical energy so that they don't have to rely on the Sorcerer's Stone, which is a very, very good idea and a very positive thing for the world of Little Witch Academia. But nothing can be that easy for a storyline like that. It's a great idea, but it's too easy for a story, so you know that there's going to have to be some evil strings attached to it. There's going to be something bad she has to do, or something bad she wants to do with it, even though it is, all in all, a good thing, really. Then we went from a slightly fan-servicey shower scene to a attempted murder of Fire Fairy scene quite quickly. A full riot ensues from that. And I love that Lotte being able to speak fairy, since I said Akko didn't earlier, but Lotte being able to speak fairy. I like that throughout the series it's shown up just randomly here and there to show that it is, not to show that it's important, but just to humanize the character and show it's something she can do that the others can't. Then we've got the evil mecha fairy shows up, and Akko is then saved by the Roombas, and it seems as though once Croy absorbs all the energy and revives the Fire Fairy, it really just seems like this is all Croy's plan to make them trust her, and I do not trust her at all because of that. It seems like there's going to be some sort of struggle, like I said before, between her and Ursula. And then at the end, poor Ursula, and I am left still needing the conversation between her and Akko. Now then, time to talk about the episode as a whole. As a whole, this is such a good show, really. It was kind of overshadowed last season because we had stuff like Maid Dragon, which I thought Maid Dragon was perfect or better than perfect almost every single episode. So we had stuff like that sort of overshadowed it, but this still remained a great show week to week. And man, the animation and OST this episode was so good, especially that first scene in the opening. I loved it. I loved the ending as well. Very reminiscent of the first ending, but does its own thing. I've only seen it once, so it might grow on me, but I kind of like the first ending more just because it had more of a feel. I like the song a bit more, and it had this feelsy vibe, seeing the pictures of Akko and all the classmates and stuff. But I really like the animation with this one and like it a lot, so it's not like it's necessarily a bad thing. It's still very good. I still need this Ursula reveal to Akko. We're going to have Feels incoming with that, and Feels, I'm thinking with her backstory with Croy, whatever it is, since it's being built up even in the opening, and it's likely going to be an important thing. I'd love to see what their backstory is. And then I guess that's it. As a score, I thought it was very, very good. Like, one of my favorite episodes, maybe. I'd give it 9 Magic Roombas out of 10. 9 out of 10 just because if they would have went with the just Akko and Ursula conversation episode, Ursula explaining what happened to Akko, that could have been a 10 out of 10. Just because that would be such a big moment for the series. But instead, they still gave us something really entertaining, really cool, introduced a new character well. But it was less heavy and weighty for the series, I guess, than that would have been. But either way, 9 out of 10 because it was still very good. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like if you did like the video, and comment down there to tell me what you thought of this episode and what you thought of my thoughts on it. Subscribe, I guess, if you want to and aren't already, for more Little Witch Academia. Bunch of other anime and manga on the channel. Going to be doing some one-off anime reviews here and there, hopefully of Kimono Friends, among others. And of course, week to week, I'll be covering Boku no Hero Academia, Attack on Titan, and something else, Clockwork Planet, when it comes to anime week to week, plus a bunch of manga. I'm not going to even list all of them. But that's it. Yeah, follow on Twitter if you want. I'll try to keep you updated there and stuff for the channel. Thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you all next time.